how big data is reshaping governance and citizen communication. We have all heard that data is the new oil, a still untapped, immensely valuable asset. Today in the 21st century, we are witnessing a rise in digital economy, with data becoming more valuable than ever. Technological advancements and utilization of big data are rapidly transforming businesses and industries. I am Evi Kiorri, and you are listening to Communicating Democracy, the EuroPCom podcast on public communication. Today, I'm joined by Markku Markkula, President of the Helsinki Region and a member of the European Committee of the Regions. Welcome to our podcast, Mr. Markkula.
Thank you. This is really a pleasure to be here and go a bit deeper on what does the data or the digitalization mean in practice.
Mr. Markkula, you could tell us who you are and what it is that you're doing exactly for our listeners.
Okay, I'm Markku Markkula, coming from Finland, the city of Espoo, the second largest city in Finland, part of the metropolitan region, Helsinki, and I'm the president of the Helsinki Region. And I've been most of my life in politics, first already when I was a student of engineering. And then I've been as well a member of the parliament in Finland, and now here at the Committee of the Region, I was the president from 2015, the 5-year period, half of that as a president and the other half as the first vice president. So I'm quite familiar what's going on in Brussels and at the local and regional level.
Perfect, then let's just dive into it. How is big data reshaping governance and citizen communication?
I want first to stress that it's not actually the data itself, it's more the knowledge. And we, the humans, we need to stress heavily the humanity, these aspects. But if going a bit deeper on that, so the big issue is that the role of cities, municipalities, that has changed and will change the next decade very rapidly. And that means that city is not anymore the, let's say, the civil servants and the elected councillors, but it's more really the whole community. City operates as the platform for many different forms of human activities, in integrating those to the services that the citizens want and need. Mm-hmm. So how we at the city level can provide the favorable circumstances for this development. And that's the issue of the data. Mm-hmm. And the data and the digitalization is not just that we change the processes in the traditional processes to digital processes, but we need to renew the whole system. Systematic approach is the key, and knowledge. So coming from data to information to knowledge and hopefully more and more to wisdom, so that we can serve the global development, tackle the grand societal challenges. That's the key point. Mm-hmm.
Now, digital technology is a fundamental driver of change in the 21st century. And where do you see most potential of the utilization of data when it comes to decision making at local and regional level?
Yeah, that's the basic question is really that how we develop the democracy. Mm-hmm. And that means that as elected politicians, we need to move much more from the traditional that we are just using our own, let's say, brains and talking with each other. We need to take.
So you're trying to pick the brains of the people.
Of the people in our own city or the area where we are operating, but as well the whole global knowledge, so that all these resources, thanks to this recent development with digitalization. So all the knowledge is within our use. If we are just eager to change our own mindset and start deepening or digging deeper in this world of knowledge. So knowledge is really the developed format of the data, but for that, so we need the basic data so that it's really evidence-based decision making or evidence-informed. So because there is not one solution that fits to everyone, so it needs to be taken all the time stronger, the local circumstances and what the local people are willing to do and what they need.
So that happens with analyzing all the data that you're collecting, but how do you collect these data?
That's the challenge, so that we are not yet using enough of the data. So we have the technology. Technology is developing much more now. We've already taken 25 years ago the mobile phones to active use. The world was totally different before that. And at that time, the end of the last millennium, so it's interesting that Finland was seen, let's say, the driver of this transformation. So they were, even the USA Today newspaper in the front page, Finland is the country where the future is now. So, and I've been challenging myself as well to live a bit earlier on the future and trying to understand.
A step ahead.
Step ahead, not too much, maybe 5 years, 10 years ahead, and try to understand what has changed and what are the drivers of this change, and then kind of coming back to where we are now. So it's defining a bit more the target stage. Now, like in the climate, we are looking for how to be carbon neutral, not only in 2050, but 2030 in our case, in my city and the whole Helsinki region. We want to be one of the forerunners. And on that, so we need the data, we need to, let's say, operationalize different activities, that we have updated the data all the time, and then we can develop by the help of technology, 5G, and now 6G is coming as well. So this is moving to the new modern technology. Technology as such is not the issue, but we need that. So we need to invest more on research and development. And now quantum technologies, quantum computing is coming, because that makes it possible to accelerate, speed up the use of the data and collect that globally. We have satellite systems, Galileo and Copernicus and so on, where we get the data as well. So we integrate the nature, development, ecological issues to economic, social, and especially the cultural issues.
Yeah, but the collection of data raises some questions about security. The use of big data in public sector opens immense opportunities, but also raises certain questions and fears, especially when it comes to collection and treatment of personal data. How are local and regional authorities ensuring to fulfill their obligation to manage data responsibly and securely? And what can be done to reassure citizens in that respect?
Definitely these issues of the privacy and cybersecurity are crucial. In Europe, when we look at the global situation, mainly the US, partly the Chinese big companies are driving the change. So we should invest more on our own understanding, on our own scientific research, so that we can, let's say, tackle these, be more human. And develop further the European values. So, and if we think about the technological and artificial intelligence fits here perfectly well. So, the new solutions that are emerging to protect the privacy online and analyze it, and if any further support created, so we can take that into active use. So these instruments that we need, they are coming from research. And the best, let's say, business processes, but they need to be taken openly. Transparency is a key on that. and that we can compete with our own, let's say, European democratic values.
And how do you ensure transparency?
That needs to go through all the political and business processes as well. So, because now everything can be openly on the net, so that we can see there and we can look behind the skins. So where does this and this conclusion comes from?
Yeah,
and that is part of the transparency. And it's been even too much, to my understanding, try to tackle the risks. Of course, we need to tackle the risks, but if we don't develop the data system, so we cannot make the huge progress that is already available. So this perspective, the other part of the same coin, is so crucial as well.
What can cities and regions do to overcome these challenges and ensure that the digitalization happens on citizens' terms and benefits democratic processes?
Let me take a very concrete example, which is not normally used on that. That's the energy sector.
Yeah.
So if we look what we are doing now with my city, 300,000 inhabitants, so we collaborate getting rid of the fossil fuel, and that will happen totally within a couple of years.
Yeah.
But that cannot be done only by the city. The main responsibility is, let's say, private profitable industry. We collaborate with the big companies, smaller companies, and organize that. But it means that we have made what we call the Espoo Green Deal, so kind of or Green Deal and Clean Deal, so that what happens next year, the year after. So we have kind of made the milestones for up to 2030. So there are huge investments by the private sector, but as well integrating, let's say, take the energy out of the wastewater, taking the energy out of the data centers, creating some new technological solutions, air, water, heat pumps, so that we can really replace coal and other fossil sources. But that happens so that in a concrete collaborative spirit. So the mindset has changed.
So it's the stakeholders, the decision makers, and the citizens.
Yes, it is extremely important that the citizens, and now when building new houses, so we take as well the geothermal partly to use. We build solar on that, and citizens or those who are household owners, so they are not only consumers, but they are producers as well. Yeah. Or linked to the same energy issue is electric cars. Mm-hmm. So there is already a lot of growth companies now moving to have, when you plug your car, recharge the batteries. So you can do that at nighttime when the price of electricity is very low, and you can even recharge or sell the power, the energy during when there are the peak hours when the price of electricity is very high. So needs to be this, let's say, broad systematic concepts taken into account, where everyone is, in a way, at the same time the consumer, but the producer as well. And we are all moving on with the same system. And their technology, digitalization is key driver of that. So we can kind of look forward when to do and what to do. And that way we will make this carbon neutrality a reality. Mm-hmm.
And any concluding thoughts that you'd like to share?
I really want to stress that within in Europe, so we have all our chances so to move to green transition. We build more alliances, collaborative concepts. We invest more on place-based innovation ecosystems, and all that is dealing that everyone can be more and more the change maker. Mm-hmm. That's the way that Europe can really take a stronger role globally, and we can help the whole world to reach the targets. But that's based on, let's say, positive future thinking, systematic thinking, how to make these changes a reality. Mm-hmm. And the future is excellent. This is a joy. The joy of learning. Learning is the key.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Markkula, for sharing with us your knowledge on governance and citizen communication. And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Communicating Democracy. And if you want to discover more about the link between democracy and technology, check out our EuroPCom podcast series. And of course, if you like this episode, feel free to share it with your network. Thank you very much for tuning in. And until next time. This is a podcast series of the European Committee of the Regions. For more information on EuroPCom, please visit the website core.europa.eu.